Oh, yes, hello. So, I want to talk about some things. So, it's actually been a while since I've looked at some people on my Divine Beingness channel because I kind of stayed off that channel for a little while, a few weeks, because I didn't want to hear about anything else that was going on. Even if I didn't click on their videos, I can still see the titles, you know. So, I wanted to just stay away from it for a little while and stay on my journey into highest potential. Well, I'm not subscribed to so many people like that, so I don't get those kind of alerts. And then with the history of the stuff I usually watch, it's kind of like it doesn't even talk about what's really happening in the world because it's dealing with different things. Um, but I didn't realize it was so bad. People are very accepting of death. People are very accepting of death. And when I'm talking about death, I'm not talking about dying what looks like to be a physical death. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just literal death all around them. People are so accepting of it just to want to survive. And let me say this again. I will get surviving so you can work on yourself and building yourself up and advancing yourself mentally and spiritually so you don't have to depend on the physical world that's just becoming dead. That's just becoming dead. So I was listening to a lady, and she was talking about how the clothes people are buying now got some kind of spirit on it. It's like of death, a spirit of death. And she was talking about some clothing brand named Max or something, and talking about how it's a code word for childhood something, child kidnapping, something like that. Something dealing with children, what they like to do to children, like Pizzagate, stuff like that. And and then talking about how she talked about how Bill Gates admitted to injecting people or infecting people with a lot of GMO type of stuff. I guess maybe it has to do with that, the VAC. He admitted to it, and nobody's really hardly saying anything, and everything is just so right in people's face. That's why I talked about on an earlier video why the truth doesn't matter, and the truth is just going to leave people completely. Well, it's going to leave certain realities completely. I just can't say it's going to leave everybody because it's going to be a shift. And the folks who just did not care about the truth are going to be in one reality, and the people who are all about the truth is going to be in another reality. Okay? But it's not necessarily about just being about the truth. It's also being about doing something about what's going on. And it doesn't mean fighting somebody else either. It means working on yourself. I said before, the saying goes that you be the change you want to see in the world because it's you. It's really, you are not a physical person. We falling into a low consciousness of seeing ourselves as an individual physical person, but that's not who we really are. And it takes working on getting back to a point of no longer seeing yourself as an individual physical person. So that's what I mean. There'll be a different dimension for that kind of mindset of no longer seeing yourself as some individual physical person. Versus people who, they might know the truth, they might hear the truth, they don't care, they're going to accept whatever it do whatever it takes, they just want to survive. And it's some just a wicked. And it's just, that's going to be a separation. But people are she just talked about how nobody's really saying anything when he admitted to injecting people with GMO. Of course, she talked about in China, which, I mean, this is something that many people was aware about China even before a lot of stuff came to be. That you can't even hardly you can't buy nothing in China without getting that the VAC. And then she talking about it's some kind of technology where they have facial recognition, and these type of technology you can tell just with facial recognition if you've had the the VAC, and you can't do nothing, and they would even lock you up. And so what else? And this is several topics I'm going to talk about because I don't want to just keep uploading different stuff with different topics. I'm going to talk about several things on this one. Uh, Somebody talked about Blkness. I don't want to get on the Blkness thing too much, but I want to talk about Blkness. What I noticed about Blkness and what group of people is really pushed by, it's Freemasons. And this is, like I said, not to get on anybody's case who might be a part of that, right? But Freemasons, this is why I'm not for black people. Because a lot of black people are Freemasons and Eastern Stars, and that's fine if that's what they want to be a part of, if they feel like that's going to help them in life. But at the same time, the Freemason is pushing a culture of death. It's death all around anyway. It's just death anyway, period. No matter what race people are now, it's just nothing but death. But I'm talking about even before. Like, especially with the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, after Black Panther Party and all that other stuff done came out, right? During the 70s and 80s, late 70s, 80s, with the gangs and the music and all that stuff that came out. And then you had a lot of people come out wanting to constantly keep this mentality in the minds of brown people of the white man, the white man, the white man, the white man, the white man. Like, you can never progress in life without the white man being in your mind. You always have to feel like he's after you. Like, you can't go anywhere in life without thinking this man is after you. This is how the black community was programmed. You have to think this white man is after you. And if you see yourself doing well, if you see yourself doing well in life, spiritually, emotionally, physically, you think you white and you need your nigga wake up call. That was the black community. You cannot see yourself any higher than the consciousness of what was forced on the black community, because you're gonna need your nigga wake up call. That means you're supposed to think poor. You're supposed to think low. You're supposed to be in a low vibration. That's the nigga wake up call. To stop thinking that you're gonna be better. You're supposed to be in a low. That's the Blkness. That's Blkness. And I notice what's controlling Blkness is the Freemasons. Now the Eastern Stars, honestly, the Eastern Stars is going along with whatever. Honestly, they just helping. Don't get me wrong. Like someone else I heard say, a lot of these males can't do nothing without the feminine, without this feminine energy helping them or giving them the okay. They couldn't just do whatever they want to without this feminine energy. So it is the feminine energy that's like still the backbone of a lot of what goes on. Same thing with the civil rights movement. Same thing with Black Panther Party. You got that feminine energy that was still the backbone. But at the same time, they're basically helpers, because those guys, the Freemasons in the so-called black community, what I've seen in the spiritual realm, they don't care nothing about those women at all. I'm talking the spiritual realm, the ones who've already passed away in different dimensions. I ain't talking about what you see now from what looked like somebody who's alive, okay? Because I said so many times in the virtual reality, who knows who's alive and who's not? And who knows who's real and who's not? So anyway, those guys they don't like black women. And I'm just using black in this case because I'm talking about Blkness and what's associated with Blkness and who's pushing it, Blkness. They literally are handlers of the black community, and there's so many black people that's a member of this organization. And that's why you have so many women. It's a lot of even elder women that we used to see on YouTube that seem to be so knowledgeable of a lot of things when it comes to wombs, like WOMBS, when it comes to astrology, when it comes to just a lot of things. They are so knowledgeable, and these are older women that I used to see in the 90s and stuff, but they older, in the 80s. But in the 80s, but they had those were old tapes, right? And it was uploaded on YouTube. But those ladies, a lot of them, I would notice how they would find their way into educate females on things and, the womb and how to take care of themselves. But then somehow they get to this black man and talking about the white man and white supremacy in the government. And then when she talks about herself, it has to be related to the black man's problems. I even noticed that with a lot of these elder women. That's why I couldn't even watch them, no matter how knowledgeable they were. I can only take them in pieces because they get into this sacrificial energy of their problems have to be the same as the black man's problem. Every problem that they have, it has to be black male identified. And they can't even talk about their individual issues because it's almost like they're not allowed to. And I noticed that when I see things, I noticed that a lot of those women were Eastern Stars. A lot of those women, I know a lot of celebrity, like that was already discussed by another YouTuber, right? Named Straight Up, that a lot of those black women celebrities, a lot of them are Eastern stars, and that's why they don't say nothing to a lot of black men when they be dogging out black women. And like, I don't want to get back into that energy of being, having any feelings towards what they did online, though. I don't want to get into that type of energy. I don't want to get into that space at all. That's not the point. The point is talking about what's controlling blackness. So talking about them not responding to the men when the men was bashing, and they still are. It's not really the point. I'm not trying to get in that kind of energy. I'm just explaining, right? Those women, those females I noticed on YouTube, but we know the celebrities never could say nothing because they were part of that thing, and they literally can't say anything. And I think they signed contracts that they can't do anything about it. And then these women that are like healers on YouTube, I noticed these older women that's giving all these younger women advice and stuff. I noticed, I realized that those ladies, a lot of them are Eastern stars, and that's why it's like, it just seems like I would always wonder what's wrong in the minds of a lot of these black women. Why are they associating their issues with what's going on with the black men? They are not separating their issues. They have a different set of issues. They're women. They have a different set of issues. Why aren't they talking about it? Well, they just, well, we tired of police brutality. No, you got a whole different set of issues besides just police brutality. Why can't you talk about that? Why can't you talk about everything that you talk about? You grew up in the hood, or and for a lot of those elder women, it wasn't called necessarily the hood when they grew up, but still, they still know about it because the whole world knows about it. And so, why can't you talk about that? Why can't you talk about maybe your innocent granddaughter got shot in a drive-by? Why can't you talk about the fact that you might have been raped as a little girl, or, little girls? Why can't you even talk about the fact that little boys are molested by some of these guys? Like, what's keeping you from talking about it? You have to associate every problem with police brutality because you got to stay on the narrative of the black man. That's blackness right there. I don't know what's it, and the only reason why people will hold on to that, knowing that they can't agree with that, but they will hold on to it because they feel like they forced to. They feel like they forced to. The same reason why people get immunizations and because they feel like because they forced to do it. Then you can leave the black community and just not even talk to nobody else black again, though. I mean, so that's not necessarily the same as an immunization or a vaccine where you can't work unless you get the vaccine. You can leave the black community alone. But it's like you got to mentally separate from them if you're attached to them. You got to get away from them. The black community of all communities, because it's death just period. It's just death now. But the black community is the deadest of all. And I used to call them the death community on my Divine Beingness page in 2017. I remember calling them the death community, even when other people appeared to be alive. Like they were literally, it's just death all around them. They just worship death. They don't know they worship death, but they worship death. And they hold on to black. Because the black, calling itself black as it is used now is not the way it was used in Kemet, and I wouldn't even want to go back to Kemet because Kemet don't seem like it's in favor of the female. I don't want to go back to anywhere where patriarchy is, because matriarchy was violently usurped for that patriarchy. I don't want to go back to Kemet. If I was there, I don't want to go back to Kemet. Now, I want to talk about what I have seen in different realms because of certain things I've just seen. I don't know how to get somebody else to see it, but I know I've seen it because of something that happened to me, that I didn't even ask for. I saw different realms where it could have been black men who already passed away. I see, different avatars of black men. And they are sacrificing black women so they can rise back up. So I know I said on my latest video about Blkness and stuff about how it looked like it was by design for all these agents to come in and just for the whole black community to make sure to blame the white man for everything the black man does, or blame the black woman for everything the black man does, or blame a little 5-year-old child for everything the black. Just don't blame him, period. Don't let him take accountability. And I said that was done by design to keep him infantile, because when there's no accountability, there is no growth at all, and you are unproductive to society. You know, it's just like you're a baby that cries, you can't handle nothing. It's like you're unproductive to society. But then I talked about, on the other hand, black women not having anybody to blame anything on kind of made her in a position to be a god if she could have accepted that. But she didn't want to let go of what was toxic, okay? She didn't want to let go of what was toxic. And I keep saying that's her fault. Because, you know, you beat somebody down so much and then you don't have allies and then you can't talk to nobody. It's only putting you in a position to say, well, fuck the physical world. I ain't got no allies. I'm unliked in this dimension. It's time to move back on up because I can't get no lower. It's time to move back up because I can't get no lower. That was a position. That was a time for the black woman to do that. She didn't. Not as a collective, she didn't. Okay, you got individuals, but not as a collective, they did not. That's why I don't really care about the problems that black women continue to go through. Because they continue to make this decision to stick with something that's very toxic to them. They still, we can see black women, everybody in the world by now know that black women are dying left and right at the hands of you know what. And black women, for some reason, they can't still, they can't do it. They can't, they feel like they owe something to color. They owe something to blackness. They don't care how much they know that this man hates them more than the white man. They don't care. It's like they can't let go. And that's going to be their fault. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, I'm about done. But yeah, I was just saying that that blackness is controlled by Freemasons. That whole narrative of blackness, that whole white supremacy, that all that stuff, and keeping the consciousness low, constantly want to blame somebody else. You're afraid to rise up and do well in your life because you got to be white to rise up. You got to, in order to stay black, you got to. Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. I never got offended at that because he was saying that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That means that you think of yourself higher. That's what he was, to me, that's what he was saying. But it was said in a way to piss people off. It was said in a way purposely to piss people off to see where their consciousness was. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Oh, he racist. Well, he might be racist, but who gives a damn? That statement right there to me sounds like black is low. Blackness is low vibration. It's low consciousness. Black is death. And basically say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, meaning you ain't about all that low vibration death bullshit. Constantly talking about somebody else's fault for your problems and you can't rise up in life because you always need something. That's black. That's what black has become. And he's saying you ain't black. Okay, so I didn't get offended because I kind of saw that differently because black has become what we see in the black race, and just black it's all about death to me. And if he say you don't vote for me, you ain't black, he's saying that you ain't dead. And that's how I saw it. You ain't dead in your mind. That's how I saw what he said, but that's not the way. You know, I think that could have been what he meant, but the way they see, you know how they always tell the truth, but they say it in a way that if you don't catch on, you can get pissed off. I questioned the George Floyd thing a long time ago, right? I remember when the George Floyd thing first happened. It was on my Divine Business channel. I said, is that George Floyd? Who is that? I done made about 2 or 3 videos around that time that George Floyd thing happened about who is that. I tried to look up his information. I said, I don't see nothing about this man. Who is that man? Who is George Floyd? That man's name is not George Floyd. Who is he? Okay. And, oh, never mind. And so, yeah, I was saying, who is he? And it was like nobody was really seeing that this man might not be real. And finally, I guess Kanye West said something. I don't ever look at what Kanye West says. Actually, I haven't been anywhere to really notice that anybody has done anything. I mean, it took me a week to even see the Coolio die. So, like, I haven't been tuned in to see what's really going on. But this lady talked about Kanye West and some things that he said that might have, I guess, pissed people off again. Like when he said slavery was a choice, people got pissed off. People always get pissed off when you try to set them free. Kanye West is not your savior. Joe Biden is not just, Kanye West ain't no different than Joe Biden. He ain't no different than Donald Trump. Okay. So he say things that to show where different people are mentally. Say slavery is a choice. Now he's talking about mental slavery. He ain't talking about nobody in shackles, in physical shackles. He's talking about mental slavery. He says a choice because at this point you still have a choice. Because there's going to be a time where you no longer have a choice. You're going to be mentally enslaved. You're going to try to get out. You're going to hope to get out. You're not going to get out. Okay, it's a part in the Bible. That's why I say I don't necessarily disagree with the Bible. I just see things differently. The more I get into a certain awareness, the more I see things in the Bible, but I see it differently. Talking about men will search for death, but they will not find it. It's going to be all this stuff that's happening to them, and they're going to be like in they're just going to be, like so much is just going to keep happening to them, and men are going to search for death, but they're not going to find it. They're going to wish they can die, but they're not going to die. They're going to live forever. Aren't they coming out with technology for men to live forever? But they're going to torture man. And when I say man, we're talking about people. They're going to torture man, right? And men are going to wish for death, but they're not going to find it. So when Kanye West say slavery is a choice, that could have been, you don't realize what these folks know because they already been taken over by something when they sold themselves to get fame. So you don't know what was necessarily speaking through Kanye West. These celebrities have access to information that the average person don't have. And also because something else is taking over them as well. And another entity is probably speaking through them that already know what's going to happen. So I don't look at Kanye West as somebody with some brown skin and just a black man. Another entities are speaking through these folks because they have to give you the answer, but it depends on how you take it. Because they gave you the answer. Okay? And when you say slavery is a choice, now I'm seeing, from what I'm seeing now, there's still a chance to get out. It's still a chance not to be a slave anymore. But pretty soon, you're not going to have the option. They're going to enslave you mentally. People who control the fourth dimension. And folks who are stuck in a 3D type of mindset are going to be under the control, are going to be property of like certain government officials or whoever's the dictator at the time. They're going to be the property. Because they're going to be of a lower consciousness and they're going to be cattle. And so you're trying to tell you slavery is a choice, basically saying get out now. Didn't Jordan Peele make a movie called Get Out? But they made it seem like it was about the black man being with a white woman. And no, he's saying get out. He's saying just like get out, literally get out. Okay, something is happening where people are going to be in a sunken place and something else is going to completely take over their mind and control their mind and control their consciousness, and they're going to be in a sunken place and they're going to try to figure out how to get out. But the way it looked is about black men and white women. I did not think it was ever about that, but I knew it was about being in a sunken place, but I did not focus on the black man and the white woman. I did not focus on the black man and the white woman. I knew it was about people in general was going to be in a sunken place. That was before the whole COV thing in 2020. But I knew it was about people in general being in a sunken place. It was not just focused on no black man and no white woman. Okay? Because I noticed people kept trying to talk about Kanye West, get out, talking about Kim Kardashian. So people were focused on black men and white women. You know. So yeah, that's it. But yeah, I was talking about so yeah, that's just the various topics right there. You know, I talked about how I just didn't realize people were so accepting around the world at this point, especially the United States of America. People are really accepting of death. Because I'm not paying attention to what's going on. But like when I listen to like one person speak, because I'm not going to listen to too many people. Like, wow, why are people okay with this? But you know why people are okay with it is because that's what they tune into. And the more you tune into that stuff, the more it just becomes normal to you, and you just try to live life but it's going to get a point where it's unbearable. Oh yeah, and that's what I was saying. You know, now Kanye West in 2022 say something. I guess he said something about George Floyd. I don't know everything he said, and I'm not going to listen to it. But because I've been said to George Floyd that I don't know who that man was, but I don't believe George Floyd was his name. And a doctor tried to get on Facebook and they shut him down talking about George Floyd. That's not who that is. The real George Floyd died years before that. It was a doctor that tried to get on Facebook and say that around that time, and Facebook shut him down. Okay, you can't find that anywhere. And so I've been said that, so I don't need to look at nothing Kanye West said because I said it already. It's done to get people's energy. I even tried to figure out what's going on. Now I uploaded another video and said that what is the whole point of this George Floyd thing? And it said it was I got the message that it was to shut down people's heart chakra. And then the ultimate goal was to shut down their crown chakra, right? What's the coronavirus? The corona means crown. And why the black man have to kick it off? He had to, Kobe Bryant's death had to kick off the doggone. Don't his name be so many people tried to see what his name was, and I think it's Hebrew, and they came up with COVID or something. Why it gotta be the black man to kick off something like that? Is the black man the coronavirus? And I'm talking about the black man like a specific black man. I'm not talking about any person that you see with brown skin that ain't got nothing to do with that kind of energy. I'm talking about the black man. Not any man with brown skin that ain't in that type of, no. Something going on with the black man that they needed to use the black man to push COVID or coronavirus. And here goes this man, I guess they translated his name in Hebrew and it means COVID. And then they got George Floyd. Look, it was pictures of him online, George Floyd, in his suit. Looked like he's in some kind of bar or something. You know what a bar looks like. Almost like a hole in the wall, too. He was wearing some kind of suit. And he was standing next to a doggone sign that said Corona. And then I think that was on the right side of him. And on the left side of him, he had that thing that looked like the virus that was coronavirus. It's the black man, the coronavirus. It's the black man, the coronavirus. And now I saw some things because of something that happened to me. I saw black men in different dimensions that could have been passed away, and then you got something that's alive. They sacrificing black women so they can rise back up. That's probably their way of getting back to Kemet. They sacrificing black women to rise back up. Literally, they taking over their crowns. So, I talked about how it looked like it was by design to make him an infant and blame the white man for all his problems. But at the same time, he using the black women, sacrificing black women to get back up to his position, to rise back up. A lot of black women are sacrificed. Those black women that become Eastern Stars, those black women that join now this is what I heard somebody else say. So I'm not going to act like I'm a professional on this one. I heard somebody else that's been practicing for a long time say this. Okay, because she wasn't into all those patriarchal type of stuff like that. That Freemason, that's patriarchal. And they got to be under a black man or a man, right? And so she talked about how all that Yoruba, what's those other things that people join? They get into the reaches, but other stuff that's like those patriarchal type of cults or whatever, Eastern Star, whatever it is. A lot of times, she talked about the black men because there ain't no white men in those, not in those other Yoruba type of religions and other type of religions that's patriarchal. She said those folks, those men are trapping the souls of black women. Okay, why they need to trap the black women's soul if they got their own though? Why they need to trap black women's souls if they got their own? Okay, who's the coronavirus? Who is the black man the coronavirus? And once again, this is not to say every single person, a male you see with brown skin, is the same. That's where the intuition come in right there, because you never know who's gonna save your life. If somebody needs to save your life, you never know. It could be a man with brown skin. So I'm not saying that to judge every single person the same, but for the most part, the black man is the coronavirus. And I saw that clearly, and it keep being shown to me clearly. He's the coronavirus. Well, it's like they keep needing black men to kick stuff off. Look what they did with Will Smith and this doggone, what's the name, Chris Rock. Like, okay, I didn't even, listen, I haven't even seen a slap. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at the slap. Because when they play stuff like that over and over again and people make, videos like, why they need folks' energy? Here they go again, harnessing folks' energy again. And they keep having to use this black man to kick it off. They did. Kevin Samuel's death to me meant something. What is being kicked off? It's like it's rituals. But they're using his energy to kick something off. But then some of these black men, they don't die like folks think they dying. Not to say that I'm saying somebody dead or alive. I don't know, and I'm not going to look into it. But I'm saying they not dying like folks think they dying. And I believe the black man is the coronavirus, and I do believe the black man is having his own way of getting back to Kemet, and black women are being sacrificed for it. That's why black women had to shut their mouths, and there's so many black women who are Eastern Stars, and they had to shut their mouth. And those black women are handlers of other black women that's forcing them to keep on holding on to blackness and all that stuff, and to keep defending the black man every time something happened. It's like those black women are sacrificing other black women, but they don't know that they're getting sacrificed themselves. Because what I saw in these dimensions, those black men don't care even about those Eastern Stars. They're using them to be handlers of other black women, but they don't care about those women either. They sacrifice them too. And those black men also sacrifice other black men or other brown. I'm going to call them brown though. Those black men sacrifice other brown men that's not like them. So I have also seen where other brown men have been sacrificed too, and their souls have been taken. So that's why I say the black man is the coronavirus. But I don't mean every single man with brown skin, because everybody's not the same. Same thing with brown women. All of them are not the same. That's why I say I'm not for the brown woman or the black woman, because we're all not the same. You can't look at what you see in the so-called black community of the consciousness that you see of these women that seem like they so heightened in knowledge. They have so much knowledge. But when it comes to blackness, they encourage black women or brown women to sacrifice themselves every chance they get. Brown women, they find some kind of way to get brown women to sacrifice themselves with all this knowledge, and they eating all healthy. These brown women are so knowledgeable on YouTube, like to talk about the healthy womb and eating healthy and eating vegetables and certain herbs. But then when something happens to when it comes down to the black community, the black woman is always, or the brown woman is always having to be forced to sacrifice herself. She can never think about herself. So that's a bunch of bull, and those women are handlers. I can't be for the black woman, because a lot of black women are like that. Okay, they ain't me. You gotta see that you're not like them. Every person with brown skin is not the same. Okay, a lot of those people with brown skin, they're from lower dimensions. Like they are the lower entities are like, just because they could be intelligent, don't mean that they are not from. This is what people get confused. They think because somebody's intelligent that they can't be from a lower dimension. That ain't got nothing to do with intelligence. A lot of them entities from lower dimensions are very intelligent. That ain't got nothing to do with it. They problem solve well. They do spells real good. They do good witchcraft real good. They can mess with your head good. That ain't got nothing to do with it. They vibrating low. Okay, but anyway, that is it though. I just want to talk about a few things, but yeah, I can see why I haven't tuned in. But that whole thing I said about sacrificing black women, I didn't have to look at nobody else's YouTube channel to see that. I just kind of saw that in the spiritual realm. And I said that years before. I said that with George Floyd. I said that when that lady got shot by the police, regardless of who says her fault or whatever she did for her boyfriend, the girl that was just, the police burst in her apartment and shot her up. I said, I've been said the black women are just being sacrificed. I said that, okay, so I always came to that conclusion. So that doesn't have anything to do with me looking at what's going on lately. Okay, I just kind of came to that conclusion. But wow, I didn't know. It's like I can see why I stay away, because people are so accepting of what's going on. It's because they keep tuning into it. Like, you've got to tune out. And people need to get together and decide if they need to create their own state. Like, why can't people get together and create their own state? Because I don't have kids and I'm not married. But I heard this person said they did, I don't know if it's in California, but I heard a person say a bill was signed This past Tuesday, I don't know how long ago this person made this video. I didn't look at the date, so maybe it was a couple of Tuesdays ago. That they snuck and signed a bill saying that the VAC is going to be part of the immunizations. So anybody who want to send their child to school is going to have to, all their children, they're just going to have that, you know what, the VAC. Or you can't send your child to school. Now, you can always say, well, I'm going to homeschool my child. But you don't know what they got planned for that either. Like, you gotta, it's like, you can't you can't give these people any more space in your life. They can't have any more space in your life. I think if I had children, maybe if I didn't have a lot of money, I know that I wouldn't want them having something in their body. I don't want it to be in their body. I know that. And I would have to I'd be praying up a storm and meditating up a storm or something to figure out the answer. Or what can I do? Where can I move to? Or what kind of, let's us and some people get together and create our own state where nobody can butt in and make laws for us, and we create their own schools within that state. But it takes people to uniting like that, because one person can't do it. The only thing one person can do is take it and save themselves. And that's what's happening right now. Individual people are saving themselves because there is no unity among people who's just tired of the BS. They're so used to it by now, like they eat it up. It's like eating McDonald's every day. You don't realize and I'm not wanting to preach healthy eating. I'm just using McDonald's as an example because everybody pretty much talk about that food. And it's like eating McDonald's every day, and it doesn't seem to bother you, and you get used to it, and you don't know that it's like horrible because you take it in all the time. And it's the same thing what's going on in that particular society. It's like it's so much death surrounding them, literally. Like, it's awful. It's awful. And they can't see how bad it is because they're so used to it. And like you only have individual people that's working on themselves, trying to change what they see in their own perception, because you can't get a number of people to unite these days. They're literally, people are gone. Okay, they gone. You can't have folks like those women in Kenya, even those few women in Kenya that came up with the land of no men. They created some area in, I think it's called Umoja, 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 and those ladies had zero money, even though you don't. See, people are like, well, it don't cost a lot of money in Kenya anyway. Yeah, but to them it could have been expensive because to us it looked cheap, but to them it could have been expensive. But they still found a way to create their own when they didn't want to suffer anymore. And it seems like that's not what's happening right now with a good number of people. They're not coming together and say, this don't make no sense. We need to buy our own land and have our own state, or even have our own country where they can't butt in and tell us what to put in our kids. It's not enough people that come together. Black, white, or whatever. It's not enough people, or brown, whatever, you want to call folks. It's not enough people that come together and say, this ain't working out. This ain't working out. No, people are still holding on to division and racism and tolerating this mess. Like, nah, it's not enough at this point to say, okay, well, I'll work from home. Okay, well, I'll just homeschool. It's getting to the point where they getting out of control. Like, I didn't even realize how bad it was getting because I wasn't tuned in. And like, they getting out of control. They need to be moved. Like, you can't share space with them no more because every time, okay, I do this. Then they push you, well, you can't do that. Then they push you, they keep taking, they taking square footage away from you. Like, okay, well, I do this. And then you do that for a little while, but then they create it where you can't even do that because they keep taking square footage. You give them an inch, they take them out. They got to get out the way because they pushing you. Now you can't share space with them. So it's like either like something's going on with just the collective of people, black, white, Latino, whatever they are, Asian, in the United States of America. It's not like saying, let's come together and just create our own little country, create our own land. Especially black folks, I guess, need to do that because they the main ones to keep complaining about how they just so discriminated against. But then they haven't gotten their head to come together and create by their own state. And it's because they're being handled by Freemasons. It's just that simple. And the people that's a part of that organization, they can't They can't uplift black people. Like, they can't do that. They can't do it. You know? That's why a lot of those millionaires and billionaires never really donated a whole lot of money to black communities. Whenever they got it, they were, what they did with their money was still controlled, even though they had a lot of money. And that's been said like decades ago. People said that. Somebody said that about Magic Johnson. It's like they still have to be controlled how they donate their money, and that's why a lot of them don't do much for the black community. So it's like, that's it though. I don't want to, that's all I got to say, but yeah, after everything I talked about, because I wanted to talk about various things. Oh, last thing, somebody asked, because I don't want to upload another video about this. Somebody asked me why I feel like duality is not for the brown woman. It is because of matriarchy. In matriarchy, there was no duality. There was more like oneness. There was more like communal living. There was like no invitation of evil. Like, okay, you have to get the good with the bad, or you have to get this with that. You have to have the light with the dark. It wasn't about that. That started with a certain other group of entities that came in. It did not start doing like a matriarchy or nothing like that. So I feel like all this is going on is completely out of divine order, especially for the brown woman, and that's why she can't stop suffering. And a lot of them get to the point where they just gone, their bloodlines gone, and that's it. Like, they canceled. That's why I said art imitates life. When I kept looking at them billboards and everywhere I go, I wasn't seeing the brown woman nowhere. Well, that was years ago when I said that. I don't know what it looked like now. But it's like I kept looking at movies and I see the previews. A brown woman wasn't in any other movie unless it was a all brown cast. I just kept seeing a brown woman missing. And it's like art looked like it's imitating life, because I'm seeing how the brown woman's mentality is. And I'm talking about a lot of them, not all, because you, like I said, with the brown male, you got individual brown women and that work on themselves. So I don't mean this for every individual person, but a good number, they gone. It's like they're gone for good. They're not coming back. This group of brown women that we have seen in this dimension, I'm not gonna say this dimension, that dimension, because I don't know what dimension they're in, right? The particular group of brown women I've been seeing in that particular dimension, they're canceled. They're gone. You know, they did all this stuff to continue to be brown male identified, even when they came to their own problems. They wanted to sacrifice. I'm saying brown women. They sacrificed the whole community. They sacrificed their daughters. They sacrificed their sons for the black narrative, which the black narrative was always the white man is after the black man. That was just the black narrative. It didn't care about the brown woman's problems. And these other brown women made sure they were the gatekeepers. They were the handlers. I know I called these brown male leaders the handlers, but actually those brown women were the handlers. They were the gatekeepers. They were the handlers. And those women are canceled. And I saw that. You can see that in Beyonce video called Formation. That's how I took it, though. When that car went down at the end, Beyonce was in this dress that looked like it come from the doggone 60s and 50s, with her hair up like she tired from working as a maiden woman. Okay, her hair was up like she tired and she been working cleaning somebody else's house, and she got this old dress on, this slave dress, and then she's on top of a police car that goes underwater. So she's talking about a type of consciousness and mentality and black women that's about to be deleted. But then she was on top of a police car, so she's saying that the Freemasons are done. They're gone. Okay, that's how I took it. Like, the Freemasons are up. It's something new coming in, and the Freemasons ain't gonna be in control no more. A lot of these black males that I saw in different dimensions that could have been Freemasons, they know that they sacrificing black women so they can come up. Those Eastern Stars that were handlers, they sacrifice too. Those black men do not like them. I'm going to say it. The black men, they don't like black women. And I'm not going to feel bad saying that. It's the truth. You can't, how you going to keep being seen? You're going to keep being shown the truth and refuse to see it. White women, Asian women, Latina women know that. Do you know when those group of women, anytime they see a black man say anything nice about a black woman, especially if the black man is a celebrity, do you know how they hop on that black man? They hop on him so bad because it is public knowledge that the black man is supposed to hate the black woman. Everybody knows that, so I'm not going to feel bad that I can see that when everybody in the world can see it. Even when I went to India, they saw it, and that was in 2018. So I'm not going to feel bad that I can see that when everybody around the world can see it. And the point is, the black man does hate the black woman. That doesn't mean that every single black or brown man hates black women or brown women. But for the most part, the black man hates the black woman. And not only that, it's not, oh, he's angry at what his mother did. No, he's sacrificing them. They are moving back, going back up to how they were in Kemet. They're going back. I saw it. I saw ones who even passed. They taking black women's souls. That's why they lure these black women into these doggone patriarchal spiritual religions. Even in Africa, they're trapping their souls. I don't know that much about Africa, but I know about Black American. They're trapping their souls. Why they need to trap their soul if they got their own? See, that's something they always want to say white folks are doing, or these folks in Hollywood are doing. Like, you know, they like to always say that, but they don't want to talk about the part where the black men are doing that. And he ain't necessarily doing it for the white man either. He moving back up to doggone Egypt and Kemet. That's what his ass is doing. And people can say all day long, well, that's not how that works. I don't know how it worked for them. I'm at this point where I don't know every damn thing. Now, here's the thing. I know they ain't leaving the doggone matrix. I know they're not going to leave this holographic world. I know they're not going to leave that. Because it is something that you got, it's a lot of attachments that you got to release in order to be able to get out of that. But a lot of the black men that are sacrificing women, black women, they don't even have the consciousness to even want to get completely out. They just want to get back to Kemet. And Kemet is still part of that holographic world. It's still part of the holographic world. Okay? So that means it's not real. It's all still an illusion. Okay? Egypt, all of that was still all of an illusion. It's not real. Just like this isn't real. Well, that's where their consciousness, that's as far as they go, and that's what they're trying to get back to. So they probably can get back to something like Kemet. But to be completely out and free of the whole thing, to get back to the actual real world, and not the astral world, that probably won't work for them because I don't think they're real in the first place. I think a lot of their lives started in the holographic world. They weren't created outside of the hollow. That's why I said the black men and certain other brown men, it's not the same as them. There's certain other brown men where they had a soul outside of the when it became a holographic world. They had a soul. They're not the same as the black man. The black man, he's not real. He wasn't created before the holographic world. He was created inside of it. He was created inside of it. Okay? And so them sacrificing black women, they might be getting back to it. Honestly, I don't know how that goes. They might be getting back to Egypt and Kemet because Egypt was quite evil. Okay, and it became the way it did because I don't know what happened, but maybe they had to turn over the keys to the white man for a little while. Maybe they had to turn over the keys for a little while. And, you know, maybe this was their time to get back on top. But, you know, maybe the white man had his fingers crossed behind his back and made it look like he was going to allow him to get back up. But then he said, hell no, I ain't giving up my power. Okay? That's why this black man is always trying to get everybody to jump on the white man. I don't think he can do it himself because of certain deals that he might have made with the white man. So he wants black women to do it. I noticed that every time I hear the black man, he's supposed to be so conscious, but he always wants people to hop on the white man. Him and this white man made a deal. I think the white man went back on his deal. Or the white man did something that he didn't realize that was going to be done. But it was a deal that was made. And he knows what he did. But he wants to have everybody just hate the white man because he don't want to talk about what he actually did. They turned over the keys to the white man. And it was their time to come back. And I think this white man reneged and said, no, we're not giving up our spot. You're going to have to move us out the way if you want your spot back. And they're not going to fight them. They're not going to move them out the way. Not even, maybe not even spiritually. I don't know. But spiritually, I do know what they're doing. They killing black women and taking their souls and their crowns. That I do know what they're doing. They trapping black women. I think that might have been that could have been the most important thing for me to say, considering the audience that listens to me. Maybe that was the main thing that probably needed to be said. You better be careful trusting your brothers, your cousins, all of them. Some of them are brown men, and some of them are the black men. Okay, like I said, all of them. Everybody ain't the doggone same because they got brown skin, but you gotta know the difference. Anyway, I'll talk to you later.